2023. We're here for, I think, a periodic judicial review in lieu of the panel. Is that right?
I believe so.
We're conducting it virtually by Zoom with no objections from any party. At least they've let me know about before we got here. Let's see, the guardian ad litem attorney for the young people, Ms. Miller, is here. Both of the young folks, Callista and Jeffrey, I saw a minute ago. Now I don't see. Oh, they moved up to the top of my screen. The attorney for defects, Mr. Skowronek, the case manager for Henry Defects, Ms. Williams, her supervisor, Ms. Brandy Long, her supervisor, Ms. Ishmael. Oh, goodness, Ms. Long, what did you do?
I haven't done anything.
I hadn't seen a supervisor lately. That's why I asked. Just coincidence. The mother, Catherine Williams, is here. I don't know. There's a Lauren Asensio. Well, I think she works at the friend's house, which is the placement for the kids. She's here. And the mother's attorney, Ms. Crane, lost her smile as soon as Mr. Skowronek scolded her. And,
What?
Sir?
I heard my name. That's all I heard.
Well, it's usually used in vain when it's heard, so take it like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks. People unmuted themselves and spoke good and loud. Thank you very much. All right. Mr. Skowronek, give me your summary. You cannot read from cheat sheets or notes. You must give it from memory.
That's not happening, Your Honor. Sorry. So
Your grade will go down accordingly.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast, Your Honor, much less what the court report said. So this is as to a permanency review as to Callista and Jeffrey and to the mother, Ms. Johnson. Some of this the department had reported previously, but the mother completed her parental fitness and substance abuse assessments back in April of last year. Psychological was completed in May of last year. Psychiatric appointment was completed back in June of 2023. Ms. Johnson was reported to be working at the IHOP in McDonough and also driving for DoorDash. Was in family therapy with Georgia Hope. Has undergone drug screens. Excuse me. Since her initial screen back in March of last year, Ms. Johnson has been negative on all of her scheduled drug screens. She has obtained stable housing. She secured that in October of last year with a lease having been provided to the department. Ms. Johnson was in parenting education classes and in family counseling. And the family counseling was completed in December of 2023. Individual counseling for Ms. Johnson was taking place once weekly, and intensive outpatient substance abuse ASM level 2.1 was provided for Ms. Johnson, which she completed back on the 17th of November of last year. Mr. Johnson is incarcerated and does not have a case plan. Ms. Johnson is reportedly compliant with all of her services. Ms. Johnson is currently residing at, well, I can't say that she's residing, but for certain, Ms. Williams can correct me if I'm wrong, with a gentleman named Jason Maddox. Mr. Maddox has had several drug screens. His most recent drug screen was back in December, and he had a positive drug screen on a hair follicle for methamphetamine and amphetamines. And the department has been providing him with services as well. Let's see. Ms. Johnson's most recent employment is with the Crab Hut, which we had reported back at the last review, and that was in Hampton. And then she has a second job now with the Denny's that's apparently located in Locust Grove. The home that she has gotten is in Griffin. It's a mobile home, I believe. It's got a lot number, so I'm assuming that's a mobile home. Let's see here, what else?
When did she secure that housing?
October of 2023.
Okay, because when we were here in December, the department was supposed to hopefully approve that home for expanded visits.
And that was the issue with regards to Mr. Maddox, Your Honor, resides in that home and having the positive drug screen, which has been the barrier to starting unsupervised visits in the home.
Even unsupervised day visits?
I haven't gotten to that point yet, but so the visitation plan currently is in-person supervised visits at a friend's house every Thursday from 5 to 7, and then supervised visitation with Ms. Johnson in the community every Sunday from 10 to 2 is what is currently taking place between the mother and the children. And then she also has phone contact as whatever permitted by a friend's house. And so there's not been, with regards to the mother having unsupervised visits in the community, I don't know that the department would have any objection with that as long as Mr. Maddox was not present for those. Ms. Long, Ms. Williams, is that something that the department would be willing to do?
We had no objection to unsupervised with Miss Johnson in the community. And we really wouldn't have any objection to it in the home if we could guarantee that he was not going to be there during that time.
Let me just finish up real quick. Come back to that issue if the department or anyone else has any questions. Both, excuse me. For the children, let me go back to Mr. Maddox. He underwent a substance abuse assessment, parental fitness, ASM level 2 substance abuse classes, parenting education, and drug testing. He had the most recent drug screen that he had that was positive was in December. In January, he had two urines that were negative. In February, a hair follicle that was negative, and a urine in March, which is currently pending. We don't have the results of that back, and that's a urine screen. For the children, they've undergone for Callista, psychological trauma assessment, CCFA, individual counseling, and family counseling. Family counseling, as I said before, was completed back in December of last year. So you got it. Where is the stuff for Jeffrey? I'm not seeing it. Where am I missing that, Alyssa?
Jeffrey's at the bottom, Callista first, and all of her medication services, and then Jeffrey.
So I'm just going to ask this. Alyssa, you're going to have to answer these questions. What assessments has Jeffrey gotten? I don't see it in here, and I'm not being able to pull it out.
Right. So he has had a psychosexual, he has had a psychological, and then currently right now, he is also undergoing course therapy once a week, and he has individual therapy once a week. We already noted that he completed family therapy. He also had a trauma assessment and a CCFA back when the case first started.
Okay. And then you said his therapy is, horse therapy is once a week?
Yes, and then individual is with Mr. Bradley Hill, and that is also once a week.
Okay. Let's see here. We were last in court on this case, Your Honor. I think you said in November. That, let's see, staff had reported that Jeffrey's behavior has been inappropriate. There were some concerns about him in January of this year having issues in maintaining passing grade in math, but he had worked to bring that grade up. And then in February, a friend's house reported that Jeffrey was failing 2 classes, completing most of his work. And then in March, the staff at a friend's house reported that he had been doing better that month with his grades, was only failing math by a few points. However, his education monitor notes that he had opportunity to receive tutoring services at the group home weekly and that Jeffrey is not availing himself or attending those tutoring services to help with his academics. As far as Callista, since we were last in court, staff at a friend's house noted she was doing well in school in January. In February, continuing to make progress and maintaining her grades. She was engaged in dance class after school and has taken accountability when she had made mistakes. And she was continuing to engage in ILP services in March and excelling in all of her classes, and earned a cell phone in March for displaying very good behavior for the past 3 months. Alyssa is at ninth grade. ILP services are budgeting, finance management, housing education, home training activities, community educational enrichment activities, health education and risk prevention. She's registered for and offered ILP services as well as independent living activities with the staff at a friend's house. Jeffrey is in the 6th grade, and he is at medications of guanfacin, amphetamine ER for his ADHD, sertraline for his anxiety and depression. Alyssa is on her prescribed medication, Seroquel for mood and insomnia, fluoxetine for depression, and then she's also on birth control pills as well to help with her medical issues with regards to that. And currently the permanency plan is reunification. The department is not asking for any change in permanency plan. And to my knowledge, Your Honor, the department is not intending to file for termination of parental rights and continue to work towards the reunification of the children with Ms. Johnston.
Ms. Williams, is all that information relayed by your lawyer true and correct?
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to add?
Not at this time.
Questions for the case manager, Ms. Miller,
No, sir.
Ms. Crane?
No, Your Honor.
Tell me about independent living services for the Callista.
Okay. Again, Your Honor, that's what I had reported with regards to working on budgeting, finance management, housing education, home training activities, community educational enrichment activities, health and education, risk prevention. She is registered and offered ILP workshops as well as ILP services with staff at a friend's house, and is continuing to engage in ILP services as a report from a friend's house as of March 8th of this year.
What's the last ILP, either webinar, live, or on Zoom conference or seminar that she attended?
I can't answer that. It's not in
I'm asking the caseworker, not you.
I believe Miss Lauren Asensio may have the date. I think it was the 19th, if I'm not mistaken.
What was the name of or title of the program that she attended or observed?
I can pull up that information.
This call.
The last one, Judge, was actually March 16th, and it was Marching into Reality, Real Life Breakout Rooms Makeup Session.
Okay. Did you attend that, Callista?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. What has been your favorite session with independent living services?
I think my favorite one was whenever they were saying which one was it? They were teaching us about like financing stuff, and it was just really fun to learn.
How to keep a checkbook? Did they show you that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, I wondered, one of these days nobody's going to have a checkbook anymore. So I just wonder how much longer they're going to teach checkbooks. But we still have them somewhat. Jeffrey?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you use the tutoring service that they have there for the class that you've had struggles with?
Because I'm not failing any class.
Okay. Well, that's good. But, you don't have to take tutoring services only because you're failing. Maybe you want to get from a C to an A or a C to a B plus. Had you thought about that?
No, sir.
So just sliding by and just passing is okay for you?
Yes,
I mean, it is for some people. I'm just asking.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite class, subject matter?
Science.
What's your least favorite?
I don't have a least favorite.
But you love all of them.
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm assuming that your first choice of living arrangements would be back at home with mom. Is that correct for both of you, or either or both?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Until you can go back home with mom, are you satisfied with a friend's house?
Yes.
sir.
Okay. I have some kids who really like it there, and I have some kids who prefer to be in a more of a family setting and not in the group setting. But you have adjusted well to the group setting.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. And you've made friends there.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
That's good. Very good. And I hear they have phenomenal food as far as tastes good, good variety. Is that still true?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Good. Anybody have any questions for the kids or have any questions for mom? Since nobody wanted to ask Miss Williams, the case manager, anything.
No, sir. Your Honor, I don't have questions for the children and not necessarily for mom, but mom does have some issues that she'd like me to raise with court.
Go ahead.
So mom has been compliant with her case plan, which is what the court heard today in the court report. Not only compliant, but she's completed what sounds like all of the requirements of her case plan. The issue that's been raised with Mr. Maddox has been in the picture from what I understand for the entirety of this case. So why he's just now being looked at, I'm not really sure. But Mr. Maddox, between 12/16 and 2/8, so 12/16 of 2023 and 2/8 of 2024, has completed 6 drug screens. The first drug screen, which was collected around 12/16, was a hair follicle that came back positive for methamphetamine at a level that probably would have killed an elephant. Now, he disputes the validity of that drug screen, and as does my client, Ms. Johnson. And even more to the point, he then had another hair follicle less than 60 days later. Hair follicles, at least based on the information provided by LabCorp being the lab that conducts these tests for the department, LabCorp has indicated in the information that they've published that hair follicle screens are most effective 90 days apart because the hair grows on average a ½ inch a month. They need 1.5 inches to test. So how he went from being positive for methamphetamine to 53 days later being completely negative for everything and remaining completely negative for everything is beyond me. But with mom's history, her compliance, Mr. Maddox's compliance, because here recently he has been asked to do things for the department. My understanding, he is compliant, at least with the things that he can be, because they now want him to do a parenting course. The referral wasn't even made until last week. And we're talking about a mom who already should have been working well towards reunification with her children. So mom's issue is that she's still being told she cannot have unsupervised contact with her children if Mr. Maddox is around. I'm not really sure why. These children should be transitioning by this point, especially given mom's compliance, mom's completion of the case plan. And we have one drug screen, which I think may be questionable. When he had a hair follicle following up less than 60 days later, came back completely clean.
Why isn't he here to tell me all this about his incredulity about the results?
I can't hear you, Miss Johnson.
I'm not sure. I mean, he's part of my case plan, but I don't. He was not included in all this. I don't know.
Was he living with you when the children were removed?
Yes, sir. He was living with me, but like to begin with, we didn't know if we were going to be together. But him and I have when the kids got removed, he was there, yes, and then we found our relationship was rocky at first, but either way, we were still in the same house. But now
when you started your case plan, you and he had parted ways.
No, sir. He has not left. He's been with me the whole time.
Okay. Well, then what was all that about? Our relationship did so and so.
I was just saying that we were together, but we weren't together. Now we're talking about marriage and all that. We're really committed together. He's committed to these kids. So to answer your question, yes, sir. He was with us the whole entire time, but he was not. We were not actually together, but he has been here the whole time. Yes.
He was in the household, Miss Johnston. Was he in the household? The household defects was coming to look at.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yes, he was.
Because they were supposed to come in December because you had just moved recently when I saw you in December. And I was counting on them approving your home and you were going to start unsupervised visits then. And then we get here today and I find out he's tested positive. I don't even remember you telling me about somebody living in the home. That doesn't mean you didn't tell me. I forget a lot of stuff. So, but I don't remember there being a significant other in the home that we even had to worry about screening. I thought
Well,
they
they
was
did.
coming to make sure you had electricity in the house.
Right. No. So she did do the home inspection, but then when it came time for her to add him to my case plan, that's when like the home inspection hasn't even been processed or anything because of the fact that the first drug screen did come back positive. And so since then, everything's just at a halt.
And
But
you're
I
in
mean,
the
they knew that, but defects, yes, they were aware that he was with me. Yes.
so you're in the same place you were in when I saw you in December, on December the 5th.
Yes, sir.
You just recently moved to this mobile home.
Yes. I've been here since October. Yes, sir.
This is in Hampton,
It's in Griffin.
Griffin. Okay. And you're working 2 jobs now.
Well, I work Denny's main of the time. Mr. Crab's Hut, that's basically on a need to be. Like if they have to have me, then I can go there and work. But like all my income right now is coming from Denny's. And that I'm making more money there. But I am still on the other job's payroll. Yes, sir.
I thought somebody told me that thing closed. I guess it did if you're working there.
No, sir. As a matter of fact, I got to go there after court. I manage, I wait tables, and I cook there.
Okay. Is the food as greasy as ever?
Oh no, sir. Not when I cook it. I can't vouch for anybody else, but when I cook it, it's pretty good.
I just remember getting a patty melt there, and I think I still have the residue about 15 years ago.
Well, you'll have to come get it another shot.
Okay. But I know the last time we were here, you had been very consistent with your visits. You've been equally consistent since then, and I'm not saying you're happy with the visits, but the visits you've made your visits. You haven't missed any visits, and you talk to them on the phone in between.
Yeah, I've missed a few visits. I did have me and Jason we both were positive for COVID, and so we did not have like visits for like 2 weeks.
Well, I'm not going to hold that against you.
Right. So anytime I've missed a visit, it was because of a sickness, and like we did not want to get the kids affected, or our transporter may have said that she couldn't do it and they couldn't find anybody else. So,
okay. What do you do at your visits?
Well, Thursdays I'm there, so we just hang out and talk or whatever. Sundays we normally go to the park. When it was raining, we would go to the mall and we would eat in the food court and just enjoy each other's company.
So the transporter would take y'all to these places, or you would take yourself to those places?
I would take myself, and the transporter would meet me at the destination that was agreed upon. And she would she stays with us. I mean, she's become part of family almost. She's a good woman.
So so Jason does not come with you on these visits, either at the or when you're out in the community.
No, he was supposed to be able to start coming to the visits on Thursday after his live scan, and it's my understanding that the live scan's back, but I don't think that they've had the results. I'm not sure, but that no, and I mean he's seen the kids like once or twice on a Sunday visit. One was at my sister's house when we did a birthday party for my deceased mother. But normally no.
When you refer to live scan, is that the urine screen?
No, sir. That's his fingerprinting and stuff.
Oh, they just did that when?
It just got completed, I want to say about a month ago. The lady that was supposed to do it when he got added to my case, I'm not sure what happened. There was she never contacted him, but when Miss Alicia finally contacted her again, I think it was about a month ago, maybe a month and a half. I'm not sure exactly how long. He went up to DFAX and he did the scan.
Have you ever used meth?
Have I?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, I have. That's the reason I lost my kids.
Okay. So when's the last time you used?
I've been clean a year now.
That's good. That's very good.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to tell you this to bust your bubble, but from my experience with a good number of my cases over the years resulting from the same thing, it's a very hard drug. It's a very easy drug to get hooked on and to get used to wanting it and using it. And it's a very difficult drug to get away from and to leave behind for good. It has a terrible relapse rate. You know what that is, when people get clean and then go back to it.
Yes, sir.
I had a mother that came through this court that I took her kids 3 different times for meth use, and she got clean, never lost her job the entire time. And but I think toward the end, the kids were mostly raising themselves anyway. But mom was a good person. She just could not resist that craving. She'd get clean for, I think one time she got clean for about 1.5 years or so, but she still went back to it. So I'm not telling you that to scare you or to do anything other than to, if you haven't already learned in the drug treatment and drug education you've had how insidious it is, you've got to be prepared to fight it.
Yes, sir. I've been an addict for 23 years.
Okay.
Yes. I battle it every day of my life, but I have a good support system now, and I put God first and foremost, and he's guided me, and he's taken that desire and that urge away. My kids deserve better, and by golly George, they're going to get it.
Kids, have y'all ever seen your mom or Jason high?
We've never seen Jason, but before we have seen our mom, just never Jason.
Okay.
But no time recently.
Okay. Well, I didn't think so, but I just, it's not like you're 3 years old where you don't have any, I mean, to some degree, you can protect yourselves, and you need to be able to protect yourselves in terms of making sure that help your mom everywhere you can and support her, but hold her accountable if she should backslide. And the same with Jason.
She knows I will. She knows I will.
You've learned firsthand growing up the bad side of a parent trying to parent kids when they're under the influence and they're not stable and they're not clear-headed.
Yes, sir, I have.
You don't need that. You don't need that. You don't deserve that. And hopefully you will stand on your own if that should happen, because
Yes, sir, I have. And there was a time where I was raising myself and my sister was raising me and my brother. But now I know my mom's got it.
Good. All right. Anybody else have anything to ask of anybody?
Can I
No,
ask?
sir.
Sorry. I just have a request.
I don't know.
I'm not sure how the ruling's going to go, but and the visitations and all that. And I know what DFAX is asking or going to grant or whatnot. But my daughter's birthday is April 21st. And I really feel like, and Jason is helping me plan her 17th birthday party, and it's going to be a big to do because she deserves that. I just want him to be able to be a part of it. I want him to be able to be a part of visits, even if they have to be supervised. Granted, I would love it for it to be unsupervised, but I can't. I have no control over that. But I feel like he needs to be able to be a part of this. He's working towards and has been cooperative and everything. I think that he needs to be a part of that as well.
Let me ask you, you said you described the upcoming birthday party as a big to-do. Is a big to-do a trigger for you or for Jason?
No, sir.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Judge, I would agree with the court that these kids are not babies. They're 13 and 16 years old. I think mom's done well. I agree with Miss Crane that she should be able to get some more visitation at the house. I think she could supervise the visits. I mean, she's been clean for a while. she can supervise the visits with the Mr. Maddox, but I mean, that's up to the court. But I just think that we need to make some progress on having more visitation with these kids with mom, especially with the birthday coming up.
Anybody else have questions?
I just was wondering if I could add something as well.
I don't know who's talking.
It's Lauren Asensio at a friend's
Okay.
house. I've been in the field for about 15 years now, and I will say that Miss Catherine has been one of the most dedicated parents I've seen work a case plan as swiftly, as well as making time to come see her kids. She's been on time. She's been appropriate. She's asked for extra visits. Any type of request I've had for either child, she tries her best to make it happen. There was a time in December where Callista and myself was at an overnight conference in Atlanta. She drove all the way to Atlanta to assist with giving me something for Callista. Yesterday, she tried her best to help me with getting a social security card for Callista so she could be in ILP summer working opportunity. I am just really proud of Miss Catherine's progress on this. So,
Thank you.
as well as the kids. Callista and Jeffrey have made almost a complete turnaround. So I'm just really proud and happy to work with them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Court finds reasonable efforts are continuing to be made. There's no material portion of the case plan that hasn't been implemented that's been brought to my attention. There's no legal required services that are not being afforded. Existing reunification case plan as to mother remains appropriate. Non-reunification for the father remains appropriate. ILP services have been documented and explained sufficiently to the court as to the Callista, and court finds excellent, reasonable progress has been made by the mother on her case plan. As to visitation, they are in need of expansion, and I'm going to expand them as long as, is it Jeff? Jason. What's his name?
His name is Jason.
Okay, thank you. I knew as Jeff came out of my head, it wasn't right. I'm going to let him start participating in the mother's here forthwith unsupervised day visits with the children, provided he continues to submit to the drug screens and continues to pass the drug screens. And of course, that goes without saying, Mom, you have to continue to pass your drug screens as well.
Yes, sir.
So you can, I don't know whether if you want to continue to visit at friend's house one day and then have an unsupervised, the visit that happens on the weekend can be wherever you want it to be.
Is it still going to be for 4 hours, or can it be longer? Or
it can be longer. Let's see. What day of the week do you normally do it?
we normally do it Sundays from 12:30 to 4:30 because that's how that's what they had available for the transporter.
Okay. Do the kids you have transportation, right?
Yes, sir, I do. We have 2 vehicles. Both of them have insurance and everything.
I just want to know you got wheels, because then we
Yes,
get
sir.
back into getting transporters and then we run into the same problem about their hours. Kids, when you get up on Sundays, is there anything that you do at a friend's house? It's some kind of regular organized activity, whether it be like a church service or just a youth get together or anything like that?
No, sir.
But we do have the choice to go to church if we want to.
Okay. Well, do y'all currently go to church there?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. Well,
We could include that in our visit.
I'm going to make the visits from 10 to 6. Okay. But if the kids want to do, if there's a church, a non-denominational or whatever they have at friend's house and they want to participate with their friends, then Mom, I would hope you would be respectful and adjust it to let them get through with that and then pick them up. But that's.
Yes, sir, most definitely.
Okay, but you need to pick them up at 10 or whatever time they tell you they're going to be ready. And then, and you got to be fairly, I mean, the staff there needs to know, preferably just don't show up and say, oh, by the way, they're going to stay for church or whatever. Y'all need to have that organized so that at least the day before the staff can know when you're coming to pick them up. And then you'll have them back at 6 o'clock. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll get
Let me
with
ask you
Ms.
this,
Lawrence.
when are meals, the evening meal at a friend's house?
Me to answer that, sir? They
So,
have
whoever knows.
breakfast between about 8 and 10, and then lunches between about 11 and 2. It just depends on outings. Sometimes they go out to eat. So our set time here is 12 o'clock for lunch.
Okay.
Dinner is usually at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hate you bring them back right when in the middle of dinner. And if you haven't fed them and then they run and they're not prepared to feed them.
They'll feed us. She'll feed us.
They're always being fed every Sunday, always.
Our mama will not care. Our mama will not care. She will just feed us if she has to.
Okay. All right. Well, just be back by 6. And if they have any bologna left over for you, good for you. If they don't, you can just maybe they'll have a piece of loaf bread. Okay.
So
you got
sorry.
every Sunday. Okay.
And I could still do the Thursday visits at the facility as well.
Sure. That's fine.
Okay.
That's what I was
Awesome.
asking you. You want to keep that like it is?
Yes, sir. I
Okay.
do. Yes.
Okay. That's fine with me.
Now, will he be able to come there as well?
Who's he?
Jason.
Yeah. Well, he can't come to the friend's house.
Okay.
But he can be in the other visits. And he can
Gotcha.
be at the birthday party again, as long as you both continue to test negative and he continues to cooperate. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
And be on time. I don't know when they have shift change at a friend's house, but that kind of stuff. If I get reports back that these times we may have to tinker with the times a little bit, maybe pick up earlier, bring back earlier or whatever. But we're going to start with that and see how it works. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Can I ask for clarity, Judge? Just so I know, because I'm the one that helps schedule everything. This is Miss Lauren speaking from a friend's home. So her Thursday visits here are supervised, but is she now permitted to pick them up and take them off site and come back?
Not on Thursday. She's going to come
Thursday?
see him there on Thursday.
Okay, so still supervising on Thursday.
I don't care how closely you supervise it, the visit will just take place there. Sounds
Okay.
like they enjoy that visit, and that's fine for now. We
Okay.
may change that down the road, but the one on Sunday will be where she picks up and takes them off at, what did I say, 11?
You said 10 to 6.
10 to 6, okay. All right.
Is she allowed to, is it going to be a community 10 to 6 visit, or she can take it to her at the house?
She can go to her house, she can go to the community, she can go, she's going to the house, I assume, for that birthday party on the 21st.
Okay.
It's going to be at a park.
Okay, well, wherever it's going to be, I'm leaving that up to her and her sober mind making positive decisions.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else that I need to address for the review order, Mr. Skowronek?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. Well, if you prepare a proposed order and circulate it, and
Do you have another review date, Your
yes,
Honor?
you read my mind. I was getting ready to give it to you. As soon as
I wanted to
Robin
make
gives,
sure.
as soon as Robin gives it to me. We have one on June the 4th already set at your special request, Mr. Skowronek. June 4th at 4 o'clock. y'all want to come in person or you want to do it on Zoom?
I think it's already a Zoom, Your Honor. Just keep it that way.
Okay. Thank everybody for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Y'all
Thank you.
take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll enjoy your extra time. Now
We-
listen, kids.
Yes, sir.
I have parents sometimes they want to put on the dog for their kids when they get back to doing personal family visits. You know, money is not endless for most families, so don't expect every Sunday to be an outing at Dave and Buster's or stuff like that. It gets pricey at places like that. But y'all enjoy quality time with yourselves, and I look forward to hearing about the good stuff you do. Okay.
We will.
Yes, sir.
We're fine with just going to the house if we
Yes.
have to.
Okay. Yeah, you can go and help clean up on Sundays.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
All right. Y'all take care. We'll
You
All right,
conclude.
thanks, Judge.
Bye-bye.
Miss Johnston, give me a call, please.
Always blame Mr. Skowronek for our tardiness for going over on the previous hearing, but he wasn't in the previous hearing. Nor was Ms. Crane, whose client was there.
What previous hearing?
Hang on at the end and I'll tell you.
Okay.
Sorry that y'all had to wait. But you're the last case of the day, so you have me for as long as you need me. We can go till dinner time. Beyond.
Those things, you know how they always print a date on the ticket, the citation. So I guess it had it for tomorrow, and it was just like, you know, and she wanted to, I guess, since that child got that ticket, they had moved, so she wanted to update her address, and I was just like, well,
No.
to need that in rain, and she asked to just call tomorrow, just so she would already, I guess she was driving, which.
Lisa, are you on the phone? Because if you're on the phone, we can hear you.
I don't know who you're talking about. What you're
I think
talking
it's-
about.
No, sorry. It's the folks in the office.
Oh, goodness. All right. Let's see. We've got several CASA volunteers who are observing as part of their training. Maybe we should start charging admission. The mother, Catherine Johnston, is here with her lawyer, Ms. Crane. The lawyer for defects, Mr. Skowronek, is here. Somebody, man, she's got a long name. Lauren Asensio, Human Services, something. How many names do you have?
I think it's just her title, Your Honor.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, what's your title? Human Services Professor?
Professional.
She's our HSP.
I just have
Okay.
them with me, Callista and Skip or Jeffrey.
Okay, so Jeffrey and Callista are whom you work with,
Yes, Your Honor.
and Jeffrey will be 14. You look older than 14. And Callista thinks she's grown.
Yes, she does.
Okay. Okay.
And she's had a birthday since I saw her, so she's
17.
7. Yeah, goodness. Let's see. Ms. Miller is the guardian ad litem attorney for the children. Ms. Long is with DFACS. Who is the case manager?
It's Ms. Williams, who is unfortunately out, Your Honor.
Well, she's the one who's going to be out for a while because of illness. So Ms. Long is going to. We're going to have to charge her extra for all the airtime we give her in hearings lately. There was somebody there's a Jason Keith Maddox.
That's the mother's paramour, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, because I don't have his name anywhere. You need to take the hat off because we're in court.
Yes, sir. I apologize.
That's okay. You're not the first, or will you be the last that didn't think about it? And it's not unreasonable to not have thought about it. Just we've been on Zoom for so long, it jumps out at us. And there was another name, Erica Fields.
Yes, Judge. I'm Erica Fields. I'm the Henry County Defects Case Manager filling in for Miss Williams.
Oh, I thought Ms. Long was going to have to fill in. You're going to fill in.
No, Your Honor.
Your
Ms.
Honor,
Long-
I'm gonna testify. She's just here to get an update because she will work the case moving forward.
Okay. Well, Ms. Long will get you whipped into shape shortly. She's been doing it a long time and she does a good job at it. And she has I'm very envious of her memory. She remembers everything about everybody. It's a good tool to have, especially in this line of business. Have you?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Skronic, your moment in the limelight.
Oh, it's my turn now? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so this was on for a review hearing, Your Honor, back in March of this year. That was the last review. The permanency plan for these children is currently concurrent plans. It is reunification as to the mother, and it's non-reunification termination of parental rights as to the father, who is incarcerated and does not have a case plan. The department reports, and we had previously reported most of this stuff. The mother has completed her parental fitness assessment, drug and alcohol assessment, done her psychiatric evaluation. She has had 1 year of negative drug screens. She is currently employed at Denny's and Mr. Crab, which I believe is in Hampton, if I'm not mistaken. The mother has obtained stable housing as of October of last year. The mother's completed her parenting education services as of April of this year. Individual counseling was completed as of April of this year. Family counseling between the mother and the children was completed in December of last year. Drug and alcohol treatment was completed as of November of 2023. The mother is currently having unsupervised in the community visits. Those take place on Sundays from 10 to 5. And I want to say she also has a visit at a friend's house. When I staffed that with Ms. Williams last week, I just don't remember the date, but there's a visit that she also has with the children at a friend's house. As to Mr. Maddox, since we were last in court, he has had generally negative drug screens for controlled substances. There were some positive screens for ethyl glucuronide, which is, I believe, for alcohol. That was, it looks like, March 30th, April 8th, and April 16th. He is currently engaged in parenting education classes with Ms. Brown from Family Ties. Mr. Maddox is currently engaged in drug and alcohol treatment with Family Ties as well. That's once a week. The mother, Ms. Johnson, and Mr. Maddox reside together in the home in Griffin. And the reason that he was put in under the parenting education and drug and alcohol, we had reported this before, is he had some positive drug screens when we initially were looking at that home as a home assessment. The children remain placed at a friend's house. Calista is currently doing well in school. She'll be in the 9th grade. Either is in the 9th grade or going into the 9th grade. I'm not quite sure. She's receiving ILP services. There's been no reported issues with her at the placement. A friend's house says she's doing very well. Calista is also on all of her prescribed medications. Jeffrey is passed all of his classes. There were some issues about Jeffrey violating some of the rules at a friend's house about having food in his room and electronic devices in his room. However, other than that, there have been no major issues with regards to Jeffrey. He has been offered tutoring. We talked about this before as well, with regards to his academic support, and he has not been availing himself of the tutoring, and that continues to be an ongoing issue of not availing himself of the tutoring. He is also on his medications as prescribed. The department is not asking for any change in the permanency plan at this time. And the department also does not intend to file for termination of parental rights in this case with regards to the children, because of the progress that Ms. Johnson is making on her case plan and working on transitioning these children back into the home at this time. So that is pretty much it. Ms. Willis, Ms. Long, was everything that I just reported to the court true and correct?
Yes.
Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, sir.
One of the issues when they came into care was not attending to the children's mental health needs or her own needs for mom. And has mom received any kind of educational or support to learn and understand the importance of that? Because it sounds like she's getting stable, and she's got housing. There was a problem with inadequate housing when they came into care. So am I reading the tea leaves that this case is fast approaching returning home?
So I talked to that issue about with Ms. Long and Ms. Williams last week, Your Honor. Yes. However, the department is more inclined to be a little bit slower in this case than we might be normally because of the previous history that Ms. Johnson has had. She does very well when she's under supervision. And then we can have had issues where the department gets out of the case and she's on her own, where she unfortunately doesn't do quite as well. So the department, while I agree with the court, is more inclined to be a little bit slower in working towards reunification. I can't tell you that it's going to be in the next couple of months, but you know,
we need to transition to overnight visits first, but and hopefully we're getting close to that. But I can just leave defects involved for life, and then that would solve that concern.
So that was the other issue that I talked about, Ms. Long, Your Honor, is that we would like for when the children are going to be returned back into the home on a full-time basis, that would be the end of the case, obviously. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to be a little bit more pragmatic.
And Ms. Johnson may object to that. They may not want that. Ms. Catherine, she's saying she wants y'all to stay, right?
No, I don't want them to stay. I want my kids to come home. I mean, that's just the end of it. But I have to abide with what y'all say.
You've done a lot of good work, and you should be very proud of it.
Yes, sir, I am.
Kids,
I've grown a lot.
Are you proud of your mom?
Yes, sir.
We are beyond proud of her.
Good. And I'm going to toot your horns too, because you've done well. You've followed through with your counseling, and you're taking your medication. I need to know how Jeffrey smuggles an electronic device into a friend's house.
Actually, no, those are
confessions. Sir?
actually those are old.
Those are old.
Yeah,
so
no,
you've grown out of the smuggling.
Yeah, no, that it hasn't happened even before last court.
And no chocolate chip cookies in the room or anything?
No, sir.
Okay. I have universally heard that the food at friend's house is awesome. Is it still awesome?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir, it is.
Good. That's very good. Well, anybody have any questions for Ms. Long?
I guess I do kind of.
She's got a
compound questions.
from shaking her head left to right when she was really wanting to say yes, but she. Go ahead.
It kind of went from, are we going to start overnight visitations to when we're going to send the kids home? But are we going to, just Miss Long, are we going to expand visitations from just the 10 to 5 on Sundays? Can we give them some more, especially over the summer? I know the kids have always wanted that.
Yes, they have. And so, like I was trying to explain to Matthias, this recent, Alicia recently just brought the request as to starting overnights, like literally last week. I did tell her to that since court was going to be next week, that we could address it here. We're not opposed to overnights at this time. We're not opposed to them. And so what I did say was that we didn't want to rush into anything, because I really did not want to embark on aftercare with this family. I really wanted to, once they go home, that we would be done with them. And so that was my reasoning for being more cautionary, but we're not opposed to beginning overnight visitation. I just had let her know that we would talk about it once we got in court with everyone.
Okay, well,
you adults in the family, Mr. Maddox and Ms. Johnson, have done an awful lot of positives, and I see the recent steady strings of negative drug screens, and I hope that needs, it goes without saying that's got to continue. But keep in mind, I know you've been in therapy, or at least you have, Ms. Johnson. I don't know if Mr. Maddox participated or not, but bringing home two teenagers might add just a little stress to your life that you haven't had to deal with lately. So keep in mind, hopefully part of the counseling and the education services that you've had is you're better able to identify when you're being stressed, and you're better equipped to handle it without resorting to drugs or some other inappropriate remedy. But I'm all for them coming and spending more time with you. I'm assuming that's what you would like.
Your Honor, I'm going to speak on behalf of my client. Your Honor, that is what she would like. And my concern today is that what I'm hearing is the department agrees that we should start moving forward. I would like to know on behalf of my client, what does that look like? And because what I'm hearing is she's done what she was supposed to do. She's compliant. She substantially completed her case plan. But because there might be an issue in the future, we need to approach them being reunited more slowly. So if we're going to do it more slowly, what services or what's going to happen in that slow period that's going to ensure no future dependency? Is there going to be extra classes? Are there extra services?
Are you wanting me to speak now?
Yes, if you have an answer to that question.
Okay, so when we say that as progressing forward, like I said, I did not want to have to start aftercare with this family. Once they go home, I want them to be at home. And so while they are doing those overnight transitional visits, the intent was to make unannounced visits while the children are there during those visits so that we can gauge how those things are going, and then to have communication with their placement as well as their continued mental health providers as to how they react or how they're acting once they return from those visits. That is what we mean. Again, I never said we were opposed to that. I just did not want to rush into anything. The unsupervised visits have been going on a little over 30 days. And so normally what we do, what I do as a supervisor is I get 30 days and then we gauge and see how we have done thus far, and then we move forward or we don't move forward. But that is my reasoning and my thinking behind that.
Okay, so since we're over 30 days in on unsupervised, where are we with that?
Again, I just stated that I told Ms. Alicia that we would discuss the specifics once we got in court and everyone was here. So we can move forward as quickly as this weekend. However, I just wanted everybody to be here and on the same page, and we can discuss the specifics.
Okay, I'm going to address the specifics for you in just a minute. Tell me.
Oh, good.
Kids, are y'all involved in any organized activities, athletic or otherwise, at the friend's house that you would be, that we would be interrupting or interfering with if I sent you home like on a Friday evening to Sunday evening? I have on rare occasions had kids that were had been at a placement for a while, and even just a foster home, and they'd gotten involved with some sporting activity, and their visits with their parents interfered with other stuff. Not that that's necessarily, it's not always avoidable, but do you have anything going on? Of course, we're in the summer, so I would think other than maybe field trips or something, there's probably not a whole lot going on, but you tell me.
No, sir. We don't have any activities like that our mom couldn't like bring us to or assist with.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. All right. So kids, that you're in Henry County schools right now, right? Or you just finished this last year? Anybody got any qualms about not only changing schools, but changing school systems? I don't know anything about the school system other than it's a different school system between the two.
No.
No, sir.
All right. Well, you're at an age that there's usually some negatives about leaving friends behind, but at least you're not so far away. And with the beauty of internet, you can stay in touch with just about anybody. All right. Well, provided everybody continues to stay at their therapy, take their meds as directed, continue to have clean drug screens, adults, and continue whatever therapeutic services they're getting. We'll start this weekend from Friday at 6 till Sunday at 6 with the kids going to the home in Griffin.
That sounds awesome.
Okay.
I do have a question.
I'm not finished
with-
yet.
Okay, I'm sorry. Apologize.
Let me finish, and then that I may answer your question. If I don't, then I'll be glad to answer it then. All right. We're going to do that every other weekend. All right. So the weekend you don't go spend the night. Do you want the day visit on the weekend, or you want to just wait till the next full weekend?
Day visit.
Okay. So let's see. I had my calendar on my phone. All right. So we're going to have June the 7th to the 9th. Next Saturday, you're going to have a day visit on the 15th. The time period can be like you've been doing. Then your next weekend, it's the 21st to the 23rd. And then the entire week of July 1 to the 7th for 4th of July, you can stay the whole week at your mom's. Mom, you think that'll be too much at one time?
No, sir.
All right. Well, that's a holiday, and hopefully people aren't. Do you work outside the home, Ms. Johnson?
Yes, sir. I'm actually a manager at the Denny's in Locust Grove, but I actually got a promotion that starts in 2 weeks to where I'll be a restaurant manager, which is a huge thing for our family now.
Yeah.
So,
and a huge responsibility for you. So am I sending these kids home to be home alone while you're working the whole time?
no, sir. No, sir. Everything will be accommodated for this. I promise you.
Okay. All right. So then after that week, you come back on the 7th, and the 13th, you'll have a day visit. The 19th to the 21st, you'll have another weekend visit. And then we're going to meet on, Robin be looking at the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th of July. Ms. Crane, are you by any chance going to, we show you on leave the week of the 22nd of July. Would you be able to join us on Zoom? And if you can, I
On
understand.
what day?
We were looking at the 22nd or the 23rd of July.
So I'm traveling to Texas, from New Orleans to Texas.
So
I could probably stop, Your Honor. I mean, I'm not the only one driving, but I could probably stop if we're just coming back for a review. I can stop and get on Zoom.
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Robin?
I could do July 23rd at 2:00.
But July 23rd at 2:00, would you be at your destination by then?
I'll be at a destination, yes. I'll be somewhere. That's fine.
Oh, so it's not set in stone as to when you're leaving New Orleans and when you're getting.
Well, I don't have it in front of me. I'm leaving
Okay.
I'm driving to New Orleans on the night of the 18th, and I think I'm leaving New Orleans on the 21st to drive to Texas. So I should be in Texas where I need to be
Okay.
on the 23rd.
All right. Well, we're going to do 2:00 on the 23rd. And now it should go without saying, but I already alluded to it earlier. But everybody's got to do what they've been doing. Drug screens, cooperation, therapy, medication, whatever you're doing, you got to continue to do. And these visits need to go well. We don't need a lot of drama. We don't, preferably no drama. And what I'm planning to do and hope to be able to do is let you go home full time so that you will be in Griffin so you can sign up for the start of the Spalding County school year instead of having to switch school systems. And maybe that's rushing it a little bit. I hope not. But, you know, the other side of the coin for all of you is, and unfortunately I've been the ringleader when this has happened because it's on me because I make those decisions, is sometimes I think it's the right time to do it. And sometimes I'm right, or just by coincidence, it works out right, and it looks like I was right. But in worse times, sometimes it comes out wrong where it's not the right time, and the kids have to come back into care. And that's why we wait maybe a little longer in some cases, because we don't want that to happen. That is traumatic for parents, but it is especially traumatic for kids to have that separation again. We don't want it for you. So if any of you think that that's pushing it too fast and you want me to slow it down some, I will slow it down. So if you think I'm not going fast enough, you can tell me that too. I'm probably not going to change my mind, but since we haven't had overnight visits yet, but I generally have a little longer period of overnight visits, but I think it's a big deal when you're having to change to a different school system. And at the grades that y'all are at, I don't want you to spend a month in Henry County, then go. Now, I may have to. If things don't go the way they need to go, I may have to postpone stuff. Do you understand that? I'm not asking you to agree with it, but I want you to understand that that would be a potential consequence. So if anybody doesn't feel comfortable, and it doesn't, you don't have to have an answer today. It may be as you've had these visits that the parents may say, oh, we need a little more therapy. We need to do this. Be honest enough with me to tell me that, because we're going to come. That's why we're coming back, is to make sure we haven't rushed it, make sure we don't need more time. Okay. So if anybody's not on board with my plan, you're welcome to share that with me. And it goes without saying that, Mom, you probably wanted him home yesterday. I understand that. But anybody want to?
No, sir, I think it's a good plan.
And I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to honor Ms. Long's request that, that I glue the file shut when I restore the custody. I have, but I don't usually do that. But I'll be honest with you, I don't normally have kids this old. But usually the kids I have are younger than this. So, and that's not a reflection on any of y'all. It's just the way this case came out. Okay.
So I got some questions.
I didn't include you in the request.
No, I got some questions because you're going to get an order, and Ms. Crane and Ms. Miller are going to say, no, you didn't do it right. So I want to make sure I did it right. So the weekend visitations are from Friday at 6 till Sunday at 6, beginning the weekend of June 7th, correct?
That's right.
All right. So then it would be the alternating weekends. Ms. Johnson has her Sunday normal 10 to 5 visit, correct?
Yes.
All right. So that would actually be Sunday the 16th. Correct. And then the weekend of the 21st through the 23rd is a weekend visit.
I'm sorry, I didn't write the dates down because I said them all out loud so you could write them down.
Well, because you were saying
down.
You were looking at Saturdays, I think. You were looking at Saturday instead of Sunday.
Oh, did I mess up? Okay. Well, okay,
So
then I stand corrected.
So then there would be a Sunday visit on the 30th of June, and then there's going to be this, I guess, an extended visit during the weekend of the 4th of July, or the week of the 4th of July.
The week of the 4th of July, which was from
the 1st through the 7th.
I think it was the Monday before the 4th to the Sunday after the 4th. I think were the dates I called out.
All right, so that would be from the 1st of July, which is Monday, through the 7th of July, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. And then there'd be another day visit on the 14th of July, and then a weekend visit on the weekend of the 19th through the 21st, correct?
Yes.
All right. And I assume Ms. Johnson is responsible for the pickup of the children from a friend's house and the timely return of the children back to a friend's house.
If that's what she's been doing. That needs to continue.
Okay. I think I got it, Your Honor.
All right. And we'll be here on Tuesday the 23rd at 2:00 on Zoom to see how everybody's done. All right. Kids, does this work for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have just one, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I got one quick clarity because I gotta put all this on the calendar. It's Miss Lawrence, so you can see me talking to you.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell who was talking.
So on the 30th, on June 30th, that's one of their Sunday pickup at 10 a.m. To 6 p.m. visits. And then the
I'm
extent.
sorry, I thought those were on Saturday. Did I misunderstand?
It's
They're
on Sunday. Sunday, right? Yeah, they're on
Okay,
Sunday.
that's fine. Whatever day they've been visiting is the day they'll visit.
Okay. And then the extended visit will start from 7/1 to 7/6. So do you want Miss Catherine to drop them off on that Sunday, then come back and get them that Monday, the next day?
I'm
Or do
sorry.
you want to just go ahead and start that
phone
extended
keeps,
on the 30th?
my screen keeps closing and I can't get back to my calendar. So hold on. Now ask me that again.
The June 30th falls on a Sunday, on one of the Sundays that would
Okay.
be there.
I got you. I see what you're saying. So they're going to have a Sunday day visit and then immediately the next go back and then the next day she's going to pick them up.
Yeah.
And you're saying just make it a 7-day week instead of a 6-day week and scrap the unsupervised. So when she picks up for the unsupervised day visit, she just keeps them until the next Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I mean, either way works.
That's what you're suggesting, and it's a good suggestion. Anybody disagree?
No,
No,
that
sir.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, it
Okay.
does. Thank you.
Thank you. I just gotta make sure for medication purposes and all that.
Thank you. And of course, we need your assistance with whoever's on any daily or less than daily regimen of medication. They need to be provided the parent so the parent can administer them. And Ms. Johnson, you've got to make sure that that happens because somebody else has been doing it for a while. Okay.
Yes, sir.
These kids should be at the age where they know when they take their meds and they take them, but you know, I'm old and I on occasion forget to take a pill. So
Yes, sir. They won't have any contact with it anyways. I have a safe where all the medicines go. So
I just want to make sure they do get their pills. And
oh yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So you know what they're taking and when they take it and what it's for and all that.
I know what they're taking. Yes, I know what it's for, but when, no, but they'll let me know that.
Okay, good. All right. Anything else about the visits? I think we pretty much reviewed everything else, and we're has the department heard from Mr. Johnston, who has a non-reunification case plan?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, the court finds the department has made reasonable efforts.
Yes, sir.
It's brought to my attention any material portion of the case plan that has not been implemented. Legally required services have been provided, and I'm not aware of any that should have been that haven't been. Case plans remain appropriate for the kids. Visitation has been appropriate, and we're expanding it to make it continued appropriate in the spirit of reunification. Both children are, well, Jeffrey turns 14 in July, but tell me about, Ms. Long, tell me about the bevy of independent living services that you've afforded Callista.
So that's in the court report, Your Honor. Let me give me 1 second. Callista is working on budgeting, finance, management, housing, education, home training, chores, making weekly schedules and goals, community educational enrichment services, health education, risk prevention, and is registered and offered to attend ILP workshops and independent living activities with staff at a friend's house as well.
Be sure to go to those, okay? I have had some kids who, I don't want to go. But you never know what you're going to learn something if you go and pay attention, and it'll
Yes,
come
sir.
in handy.
And also, for the summer, I think it ends. When does it end?
July 30th.
It ends at the end of July. I'm doing Georgia Crew. It's an IOP service, and doing it, I get paid for it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, and it's virtual, so I can do it if I'm here or at home, no matter where I am.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. That sounds very promising. So by all means, take advantage of it. All right. And court finds mom has made plenty of substantial progress on her case plan. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that July 23rd, 24th at 2:00 on Zoom, that we're going to see if we can't pull the trigger, so to speak. All right. That means everybody has to continue to do their work and continue to follow the plan and cooperate and communicate. You know, listen, something may come up that this perfect visitation schedule that I've set up may need an adjustment. Somebody may get sick. Somebody may have problems that the power may get cut off or it gets disconnected somehow. You know, you got to communicate. You bet your car may have a flat tire on the way to pick up the kids. Let somebody know. You'd be amazed how many times I've had stuff like that happen. Nobody calls anybody. It's like they think people just are going to get it by radar or something. So everybody has everybody's phone number. Ms. Johnson, you have the staff at the friend's house, so if something delayed you, you can let them know. I'm not suggesting that you just, well, I'm busy, I'm watching my soap operas, I'm going to get them in a little while. No, I don't mean that. I mean a legitimate emergency that necessitates there being a delay. It may be that Jeffrey,
Yes, sir.
that Jeffrey's finishing his 5th helping of mashed potatoes and meatloaf, and he needs a few more minutes to finish before he's ready to go.
Yes, sir. I have the friend's house phone number, and I also have Miss Lauren's number as well, to where if something like that does arise, I can communicate with them.
I think I would have already heard if there was a problem with y'all, with any of these folks, but by all means, communicate. And when you leave messages, return the messages. I have people that they call and tell them something and then they don't ever call back. All right. Everybody at the same address, Mom, okay. Do you know if Mr. Johnston is still at Riverbend?
As far as I know, he is.
Okay.
And I have a question as well. So Miss Williams is no longer our caseworker?
She's sustained some injuries in an accident and is out on leave and can't come to work.
Okay.
She will probably, what was reported to me, either, I don't know whether it was yesterday or the end of last week, is that she should be back before you come to see me in July. Whether they're transitioning you to another case manager because they don't know exactly when she's coming, that's up to them. But Ms. Long is welcome. If she knows a definitive answer to that, she's welcome to answer it for you. But
yes, sir. So we will have Miss Erica Fields going out to meet with mom as well as the children, but I'll still be the supervisor. So there's not going to be any lapse in any services or anything like that.
So I'll have those numbers as well, because I only have Miss Alicia's phone number.
Yes. I can give you my number now, actually.
Okay.
If you text me, I'll respond to you and provide you with Miss Fields' contact information as well.
Okay. So I'll contact you from now on and not Miss Alicia, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Just making sure. Okay. Because we were wondering, she hadn't been answering, and I was like, okay, that's not like her. So that would explain why.
all right. So you had started to ask a question when I was in the middle of the visitation schedule. Do you remember what you were going to ask me? Or did
you
it
already
get
answered
it? It must have gotten answered. I was clairvoyant. I read your mind and I knew what you needed.
Thank you much.
Take care. Keep up the good work.
Have a good day.
All right. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.